Tonight, we explore something powerful, something invisible, yet deeply influential. The difference between a billionaire's brain and a normal brain. This is not about intelligence, not about luck, not even about education. It's about patterns, habits, and the quiet thoughts repeated every day. As you listen, allow your mind to relax. You don't need to remember everything. Your subconscious is listening, even if you drift into sleep. Let's begin by understanding what truly separates wealth creators from everyone else. The foundation, how billionaires think about money. Most people think money is something you earn. Billionaires think money is something you multiply. This distinction is everything. When a normal brain sees $1,000, it thinks, "What can I buy?" When a billionaire's brain sees $1,000, it thinks, "What can this become?" One perspective leads to consumption. The other leads to creation. The average person trades time for money. They calculate their worth in hours. $15 per hour, $50 per hour, even $200 per hour. But here's what billionaires understand deeply. Time is the only truly limited resource. Money can be created infinitely. Time cannot. So while most people optimize to make more per hour, billionaires optimize to decouple income from time entirely. They build systems. They create assets. They develop machines, both literal and metaphorical, that generate wealth whether they're working or sleeping. Think about this carefully. When you sleep tonight, is money being created in your name? For most people, the answer is no. Their income stops the moment they stop working. For billionaires, the answer is always yes. Their businesses operate. Their investments compound. Their intellectual property generates royalties. Their systems continue producing value even while they dream. This is not magic. This is design. The billionaire brain is fundamentally different in how it processes the concept of earning. It rejects the linear model. It refuses to believe that wealth must be slow and steady. Instead, it seeks leverage, multiplication, and exponential growth. Let's go deeper into this concept of leverage because it's the cornerstone of billionaire thinking. Leverage means getting more output from less input. It means 1 hour of your effort producing 10 hours, 100 hours, or 1 million hours of value. There are several types of leverage, and billionaires master them all. First, there's labor leverage. This is when you use other people's time. You hire employees, contractors, freelancers. Each person multiplies your capacity. While the normal brain thinks, "I can't afford to hire someone," the billionaire brain thinks, "I can't afford not to." Why? Because every hour you spend on low-value tasks is an hour not spent on high-value tasks. If you can generate $10,000 per hour strategizing, but you spend 5 hours per week on administrative work that someone else could do for $30 per hour, you're losing exponentially. The normal brain sees the $30 hourly cost. The billionaire brain sees the opportunity cost of not delegating. Second, there's capital leverage. This is using money to make money. The normal brain saves money in a bank account earning 0.5% interest, slowly losing value to inflation. The billionaire brain puts money to work immediately, in businesses, real estate, stocks, funds, anywhere it can compound and grow. Billionaires understand that holding cash is not safety. It's a slow leak. Every day your money sits idle, you're losing purchasing power. Every day your money works, you're gaining ground. Third, there's media leverage. This is the most powerful form in the modern world. Media leverage means code, content, and distribution. You create something once, a video, a course, an app, a book, and it reaches millions without additional effort from you. Think about a billionaire like Jeff Bezos. Amazon operates 24 hours per day across the globe. Every second, thousands of transactions occur. Bezos isn't manually processing those orders. The system does. That's leverage. Think about someone like Warren Buffett. His investments compound automatically based on market forces and business operations he doesn't directly manage. That's leverage. Think about content creators who've built massive audiences. They record one video that gets viewed 10 million times. Each view generates value. That's leverage. The normal brain thinks small. One job, one income stream, one path. The billionaire brain thinks in systems and multiplication. Multiple income streams. Assets working simultaneously. Networks amplifying reach. Now, let's talk about risk, because this is where the gulf between normal thinking and billionaire thinking becomes a canyon. How billionaires think about risk. Most people are taught that risk is bad. Stay safe. Don't lose what you have. Protect, preserve, defend. This conditioning creates poverty. Billionaires don't avoid risk. They manage it. They calculate it. They use it. Here's the critical insight. The normal brain sees risk and reward as opposites. High risk, high reward. Low risk, low reward. The billionaire brain sees risk and knowledge as opposites. When you know what you're doing, risk decreases even as potential reward increases. Let me explain this with an example. To someone who knows nothing about real estate, buying a property seems incredibly risky. What if the market crashes? What if tenants don't pay? What if repairs cost more than expected? To someone who's studied real estate for years, analyzed hundreds of deals, built a network of contractors and property managers, and understands market cycles, buying the right property at the right time is not risky at all. It's strategic. The risk hasn't changed objectively. The knowledge has changed. And knowledge transforms risk into opportunity. This is why billionaires invest heavily in learning. Not for credentials, not for titles, but because knowledge reduces risk while expanding possibilities. The normal brain spends money on liabilities, things that lose value and generate no return. Cars, clothes, entertainment. These provide temporary pleasure but build no wealth. The billionaire brain spends money on assets and on learning. Things that generate returns. Things that compound. Things that expand capacity to create more wealth. When a normal person gets $10,000, they might buy a new car, go on vacation, upgrade their wardrobe. When a billionaire gets $10,000, even before they're actually a billionaire, when they're still building, they ask, what can I buy that will return more than $10,000? Maybe it's inventory for a business. Maybe it's a course that teaches a valuable skill. Maybe it's hiring a coach who can compress 10 years of learning into 6 months. Maybe it's an investment that pays dividends. The point is, money spent on assets and growth is never really spent. It's invested, comes back multiplied. This is the pattern billionaires repeat constantly. Invest, multiply, reinvest, multiply again. The cycle accelerates over time because the base amount grows. Let's talk about another aspect of risk that separates the two mindsets. The fear of failure. The normal brain is terrified of failure. Failure means embarrassment, judgment, loss, waste. So the normal brain plays it safe, takes the secure job, follows the conventional path, avoids anything that might not work out. The billionaire brain reframes failure entirely. Failure is feedback. Failure is data. Failure is tuition paid to the University of Real-World Experience. Every billionaire has failed, multiple times, often spectacularly. Elon Musk's first rockets exploded. His companies nearly went bankrupt. He's been mocked, doubted, criticized. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company. He launched products that flopped. Jeff Bezos has shut down countless failed Amazon projects that cost millions. Richard Branson has started hundreds of businesses. Many failed. But here's the difference. They didn't see those failures as reasons to stop. They saw them as necessary steps toward success. The billionaire brain understands that the path to massive success is paved with small failures. Each failure teaches something. Each failure eliminates one path that doesn't work, bringing you closer to the path that does. Thomas Edison said it perfectly when talking about inventing the light bulb. I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. This mindset is everything. If you're afraid of failure, you'll never try anything bold. You'll never risk. You'll never build anything significant. If you embrace failure as information, you become unstoppable. You try, you learn, you adjust, you try again. Eventually, you succeed. And when you succeed with this approach, you succeed big because you've learned so much along the way. The normal brain seeks certainty. The billionaire brain seeks probability and manages uncertainty. Life is uncertain. Markets fluctuate. Economies shift. Technologies disrupt. You can't eliminate uncertainty, but you can position yourself to benefit from it. Billionaires diversify. They don't put everything into one basket. They spread investments, build multiple income streams, develop various skills. This way, if one area fails, others continue producing. The normal brain puts all energy into one job, one employer, one income source. This feels safe, but it's actually the riskiest position possible. If that one source disappears, layoff, company closure, industry disruption, everything collapses. The billionaire brain is always asking, what if this stops working? What's my backup? What's my plan B, C, and D? This isn't pessimism. It's strategy. Now, let's shift to something equally important. How billionaires think about time. The billionaire brain and time. Time is the ultimate currency. You can make more money, but you can't make more time. Billionaires are obsessed with time. Not in a stressed, anxious way, in a focused, intentional way. They ask constantly, is this the highest and best use of my time right now? Most people never ask this question. They do whatever comes up. They respond to whoever demands attention. They drift through days without intention. The billionaire brain plans time like an investment portfolio. Every hour is allocated. Every commitment is evaluated. Here's a powerful exercise billionaires use. Calculate your ideal hourly rate. If you want to make $1 million per year, and you work 50 weeks per year at 40 hours per week, that's 2,000 hours. 1 million divided by 2,000 is $500 per hour. That's your target rate. That's what your time needs to be worth. Now look at your current activities. Are you doing things worth $500 per hour? Or are you doing things worth $20 per hour? If you're doing $20 per hour tasks when your time should be worth $500 per hour, you're losing $480 for every hour you waste. The billionaire brain ruthlessly eliminates low-value tasks, delegates them, automates them, outsources them. The normal brain thinks, I'll save money by doing this myself. The billionaire brain thinks, I'll make money by freeing my time for higher-value activities. This is why billionaires have assistants, housekeepers, drivers, chefs. Not because they're lazy, because they're strategic. If you can pay someone $30 per hour to handle tasks that free you to do work worth $500 per hour, you're gaining $470 per hour by delegating. This math is simple, but most people never think this way. They stay stuck doing everything themselves, feeling busy, feeling productive, but never building real wealth because their time is fragmented across activities that don't multiply. Billionaires also understand energy management, not just time management. You have different types of energy throughout the day. Creative energy, analytical energy, social energy, administrative energy. The billionaire brain matches high-value tasks with high-energy periods. Deep work, strategic thinking, and creative problem-solving happen during peak mental states, usually morning for most people. Low-value tasks, emails, meetings, administrative work, happen during lower energy periods. The normal brain does the opposite. Wastes peak morning energy on emails and scrolling. Tries to do deep work when mentally exhausted in the afternoon. Wonders why nothing significant gets accomplished. Your energy is finite each day. How you spend it determines what you build. Billionaires also think about time in longer horizons. The normal brain thinks in days and weeks. What do I need to do today? What's happening this week? The billionaire brain thinks in years and decades. Where will I be in 10 years if I stay on this path? What needs to happen this year to reach that 10-year goal? What needs to happen this month to reach that yearly goal? This long-term thinking creates patience. It allows compound growth. It prevents panic during short-term fluctuations. Warren Buffett is famous for saying his favorite holding period for a stock is forever. He's not trying to make money this quarter. He's building wealth over decades. The normal brain wants results now, wants money now, wants success now. This impatience leads to poor decisions, chasing get-rich-quick schemes, giving up when results don't appear immediately, switching strategies constantly instead of committing long enough to see compound effects. The billionaire brain is patient with growth but impatient with action. They don't wait to start. They don't procrastinate. When they see an opportunity, they move. But once they've started, they give it time. They understand that big results take time to materialize. Plant an oak tree, and you won't see shade for decades. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't plant it today. The same is true for businesses, investments, and skills. The earlier you start, the more time you have for compounding. This is why billionaires often start young, or, if they start later, they move with incredible urgency. They know time is limited. If you're 30 years old and you start investing $1,000 per month with an average return of 8% annually, by age 65 you'll have around $2 million. If you wait until you're 40 to start, you'll have less than $900,000, less than half. Those 10 years of delay cost over $1 million. This is the power of time and compounding. And billionaires understand it intuitively. Let's move now into the daily patterns, the habits that create the billionaire brain. The daily habits of a billionaire brain. Habits are automatic. They happen without conscious thought. And this is their power. If you have to decide every day whether to exercise, you'll often choose not to. If exercise is a habit, automatic, non-negotiable, you'll do it regardless of motivation. Billionaires build their lives on powerful habits. These habits run in the background, creating success without requiring willpower. Let's explore the most common and most powerful ones. Morning routines. Almost every billionaire has a structured morning routine. They don't wake up and check their phone. They don't start the day reactive. They wake up and take control. This might include meditation, exercise, reading, journaling, planning the day. The specific activities vary, but the principle is the same. Start the day in a powerful mental state. Why does this matter? Because the first hour of your day sets the tone for everything that follows. If you start scattered and reactive, you'll stay scattered and reactive. If you start focused and intentional, you'll remain focused and intentional. The normal brain grabs the phone immediately, checks social media, checks email, starts responding to other people's agendas before setting their own. By the time they finish this digital consumption, their energy is depleted and their day is already off track. The billionaire brain protects the morning. No phone for the first hour. No email. No distractions. Just focus on the most important things. Mental clarity, physical health, strategic thinking. Reading. Billionaires read constantly. Not fiction for entertainment, though some do that too, but books that expand knowledge, provide frameworks, share strategies. Warren Buffett reads 500 pages per day. Bill Gates reads 50 books per year. Elon Musk learned rocket science by reading books. Reading is the fastest way to absorb decades of someone else's experience in a few hours. Think about that. Someone spent 20 years mastering a topic. They write a book. You read it in 10 hours. You've now downloaded 20 years of knowledge in less than a day. This is an insane return on investment. Yet most people read nothing. They watch TV. They scroll social media. They consume entertainment but not education. The billionaire brain is always learning, always expanding, always seeking new information, new frameworks, new perspectives. Exercise. Nearly every billionaire exercises regularly. Not because they care about looking good, though that might be a side benefit, but because exercise optimizes the brain. Physical movement increases blood flow to the brain, releases chemicals that improve mood, focus, and creativity, reduces stress and anxiety. Exercise is not about vanity. It's about performance. When your body is healthy, your mind is sharp. When your mind is sharp, your decisions are better. When your decisions are better, your results improve. The normal brain sees exercise as optional. Something to do if there's time. Something that gets skipped when life gets busy. The billionaire brain sees exercise as non-negotiable. It's as essential as sleeping or eating. Because without physical health, everything else suffers. Deep work. Billionaires schedule time for deep, focused work. Uninterrupted blocks where they think, create, and solve hard problems. This is where the real value is generated. Shallow work, emails, meetings, quick tasks is easy. Anyone can do it. It feels productive but creates little value. Deep work, strategic thinking, product development, major decisions is difficult. Few people can do it well, but it creates massive value. The normal brain spends most time on shallow work. Always reacting. Always busy. Never creating anything significant. The billionaire brain ruthlessly protects time for deep work. Blocks the calendar. Eliminates distractions. Goes into do not disturb mode for hours at a time. Networking. Billionaires build relationships intentionally. They understand that your network is your net worth. The people you know determine the opportunities available to you. The people you learn from determine how quickly you grow. The normal brain networks randomly. Goes to events occasionally. Collects business cards that sit in a drawer. The billionaire brain networks strategically. Identifies who they need to know. Provides value first. Builds genuine relationships. Stays in touch consistently. They understand that every major breakthrough usually comes through people. Partnership. An introduction. Piece of advice. An investment. Relationships are assets. They compound over time. The person who can't help you today might be able to help you tremendously in 5 years, if you've maintained the relationship. Saying no. This is perhaps the most important habit of all. Billionaires say no to almost everything. They say no to distractions. No to low-value opportunities. No to people who drain energy. No to commitments that don't align with their goals. This is counterintuitive. We're taught to say yes. Be open. Be friendly. Be helpful. But every yes to something unimportant is a no to something important. If you say yes to a mediocre project, you're saying no to a great project. If you say yes to a pointless meeting, you're saying no to deep work. If you say yes to consuming content all day, you're saying no to creating something valuable. The billionaire brain understands that focus requires elimination. You can't do everything. You can only do a few things exceptionally well. So they choose those few things carefully and say no to everything else. Warren Buffett said, "The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. This discipline is rare, but it's essential." Reflection and journaling. Many billionaires journal. They reflect on their day, their decisions, their progress. This creates self-awareness. You can't improve what you don't measure. You can't change what you don't notice. Journaling forces you to think about your thinking, to examine your patterns, to identify what's working and what's not. The normal brain never reflects, just moves from day to day, repeating the same patterns, wondering why results don't change. The billionaire brain constantly evaluates and adjusts. What worked? What didn't? What should I do more of? What should I stop? This feedback loop accelerates growth. Let's talk now about something subtle but powerful. The mental patterns that shape financial reality. The mental patterns that quietly create wealth. Your thoughts create your reality. Not in some mystical way, in a very practical way. Your thoughts determine your actions. Your actions determine your results. Your results shape your circumstances. So if you want to change your circumstances, you must change your thoughts. Billionaires think differently than most people. Their mental patterns are distinct. Abundance mindset versus scarcity mindset. This is fundamental. The scarcity mindset believes resources are limited. If someone else wins, you lose. There's not enough to go around. Better grab what you can and hold tight. This mindset creates fear, competition, and hoarding. The abundance mindset believes resources are unlimited. Value can be created. Wealth can be generated. If someone else succeeds, it doesn't diminish your potential. In fact, their success might create opportunities for you. This mindset creates collaboration, generosity, and expansion. Billionaires operate from abundance. They look for win-win situations. They share knowledge freely because they know it doesn't deplete their own knowledge. It often comes back multiplied through connections and goodwill. The normal brain hoards, keeps secrets, fears competition, thinks in terms of zero-sum games. But wealth creation is not zero-sum. When someone builds a business that solves problems, they create value that didn't exist before. Everyone benefits. Ownership mindset versus victim mindset. This determines whether you have power or feel powerless. The victim mindset blames circumstances, the economy, the government, the boss. Bad luck. I can't succeed because This mindset removes responsibility. And without responsibility, you have no power to change anything. The ownership mindset takes responsibility for everything, even things beyond your control. Not because you caused them, but because you choose how to respond to them. This situation is challenging, and it's up to me to figure out how to navigate it. This mindset creates power. You might not control the economy, but you control your skills, your effort, your strategy, your attitude. Billionaires take extreme ownership. They don't make excuses. They don't blame. They just find solutions. When something goes wrong, they ask, what could I have done differently? What can I learn from this? How do I prevent this in the future? This pattern of thinking creates continuous improvement and eventually, inevitable success. Long-term thinking versus short-term thinking. We touched on this earlier, but it goes deeper than time horizons. It's about delayed gratification. The normal brain wants pleasure now, wants comfort now, wants to avoid pain now, so they choose immediate gratification over long-term benefit. Eat junk food now, suffer health consequences later. Spend money now, struggle financially later. Watch TV now, miss skill development later. Each small decision seems insignificant, but thousands of small decisions compound into your life. The billionaire brain embraces delayed gratification. Discomfort now, reward later. Discipline now, freedom later. Investment now, wealth later. They understand that the temporary discomfort of discipline is far less painful than the permanent discomfort of regret. This pattern shapes everything. Saving and investing instead of spending. Working on the business instead of watching Netflix. Learning new skills instead of staying comfortable. It's difficult in the moment, but it creates extraordinary results over time. Problem solving versus problem avoiding. This is subtle but critical. When the normal brain encounters a problem, it avoids, procrastinates, hopes it goes away, distracts with something easier. When the billionaire brain encounters a problem, it engages, analyzes, breaks it down, finds solutions. This is because billionaires understand that problems are opportunities in disguise. Every problem people face is a potential business. Every frustration is a product waiting to be created. Every inefficiency is an opportunity for improvement. Instead of seeing problems as obstacles, billionaires see them as doorways to wealth. Uber solved the problem of unreliable taxis. Airbnb solved the problem of expensive hotels. Amazon solved the problem of inconvenient shopping. Each of these companies generated billions by solving problems. If you train yourself to see problems as opportunities, and to move toward them instead of away from them, you'll find endless possibilities for creating value and wealth. Identity-based thinking. This is perhaps the deepest pattern of all. Most people have an identity of being middle class, being an employee, being not a business person, being not good with money. These identities become self-fulfilling prophecies. If you see yourself as someone who struggles with money, you'll unconsciously make decisions that confirm that identity. If you see yourself as someone who's not a leader, you'll avoid leadership opportunities. Your identity determines your actions more than your goals or even your willpower. Billionaires develop the identity of a wealth creator. They see themselves as investors, as builders, as people who generate value. This identity shapes every decision. When faced with a choice, they ask, what would someone at the level I'm trying to reach do in this situation? And they do that. Over time, the identity becomes real. Not because of self-delusion, but because actions aligned with that identity create results aligned with that identity. James Clear writes about this beautifully in Atomic Habits. The most effective way to change behavior is to change identity. Instead of setting a goal, I want to make $1 million, you adopt an identity. I am someone who builds valuable businesses. Then you act consistently with that identity. This is transformative. Now let's explore why most people stay stuck financially, despite wanting wealth. Why most people stay stuck financially. Desire is not enough. Everyone wants to be wealthy. Very few become wealthy. Why? Because wanting wealth is not the same as being willing to do what wealth requires. Let's unpack the barriers that keep people stuck. Comfort zones. Humans are wired for comfort and safety. Our brains evolved to avoid risk, conserve energy, and stay with the familiar. This was useful when survival depended on avoiding predators and conserving scarce calories. But in the modern world, this programming keeps people trapped. The comfortable path is staying at a job you dislike because it's predictable, not starting a business because it's scary, not investing because you might lose money, not learning new skills because it requires effort. Comfort feels safe in the moment but becomes a prison over time. Wealth is built outside the comfort zone. By definition, if what you're doing feels comfortable and familiar, it's probably what you've always done, which means it's producing the results you've always gotten. To get different results, you must do different things. Different things feel uncomfortable. The billionaire brain accepts discomfort as the price of growth. The normal brain avoids discomfort at all costs and pays for it with a life that never changes. Limiting beliefs. These are stories you tell yourself about what's possible or what you deserve. I'm not smart enough. I don't have connections. I didn't go to the right school. I'm too old. I'm too young. The economy is bad. Rich people are greedy. These beliefs are usually unconscious. You might not even realize you hold them, but they run in the background, sabotaging your efforts. If deep down you believe you don't deserve wealth, you'll unconsciously reject opportunities. You'll make poor decisions. You'll give up easily. Billionaires identify and eliminate limiting beliefs. They question assumptions. They challenge narratives. When they hear themselves think, "I can't," they ask, "Why not?" Who says, "What if I could?" They look for examples of people who've done what they want to do, often from less advantageous starting positions. This proves it's possible. If it's possible for someone else, it's possible for you. Maybe not easy, maybe not quick, but possible. And possible is all you need. Lack of financial education. Most people are never taught about money. School teaches math, history, science, but not how to build wealth. Not how to invest. Not how to think about money strategically. So people graduate, start earning, and have no idea what to do with their income beyond spending it. They don't understand compound interest. They don't know how to evaluate investments. They're afraid of the stock market but comfortable with lottery tickets. This ignorance is costly. Without financial education, people make terrible decisions. They carry high-interest debt. They lease cars. They buy liabilities thinking they're investments. Billionaires educate themselves. They read books on investing, business, economics. They study successful people. They learn from mistakes, both their own and others. Financial education is not complicated. It doesn't require a degree, but it does require time and effort. Most people would rather remain ignorant and complain about being broke than spend 50 hours learning about money. This is a choice, a costly one. Consumption addiction. Modern society is designed to make you spend. Advertising everywhere. Social media showcasing luxury lifestyles. Easy credit. One-click purchasing. The normal brain falls into the trap. Sees something appealing. Feels a desire. Buys immediately. Feels good briefly. Then returns to baseline and needs another hit. This is the dopamine cycle, and it keeps people financially stuck. Every dollar spent on consumption is a dollar not invested. Every dollar not invested is potential future wealth destroyed. If you spend $100 on something you don't need, you're not just out $100. You're out whatever that $100 would have become over 20 years of compound growth, possibly $600 or more. Multiply this by hundreds of monthly purchases, and you see why most people never build wealth. They're bleeding money constantly on things that provide brief satisfaction but no lasting value. Billionaires consume strategically. They spend on things that matter. Health, learning, experiences that create memories. But they're ruthless about cutting unnecessary expenses. They understand that consumption is the enemy of wealth building. Every dollar saved and invested is a soldier working for your financial future. No clear goals or strategy. Most people want to be rich, but they have no clear definition of what that means or plan for how to get there. Wanting wealth without a strategy is like wanting to travel but never picking a destination or route. You might wander. You might move. but you'll never arrive anywhere specific. Billionaires set clear financial goals. Not just, I want to be rich, but I want to have $10 million in net worth by age 50. Then they reverse engineer. What does that require? What businesses or investments would generate that wealth? What skills do they need to develop? What relationships do they need to build? They create a roadmap. Then they follow it, adjusting as needed based on results. The normal brain drifts, dreams vaguely, hopes something works out. Hope is not a strategy. Fear and self-sabotage. This is psychological and deep. Many people have a fear of success that's as strong as their fear of failure. Fear of failure keeps you from trying. Fear of success keeps you from finishing. Why would someone fear success? Because success changes things. It might mean losing friends who resent your growth. It might mean increased responsibility. It might mean becoming visible and therefore vulnerable to criticism. So unconsciously, people sabotage themselves right before breakthrough. They procrastinate on the final step. They make a careless mistake. They quit right before success arrives. Billionaires work through these fears, often with coaches, therapists, or mentors. They recognize that psychological blocks are as important as practical skills. If your mind is working against you, no amount of strategy will help. Impatience. We live in an instant gratification culture. Fast food, fast internet, fast everything. This creates unrealistic expectations about wealth building. People want to be millionaires in a year. They want results in a month. They want overnight success. When results don't appear immediately, they quit. They switch strategies. They chase the next shiny object promising faster results. This is why get-rich-quick schemes are so appealing and so destructive. They promise what people want. Wealth without time, effort, or patience. But real wealth takes time. Billionaires understand this. They commit to long-term strategies. They stay the course during difficult periods. They trust the compound effect. Bamboo is a great metaphor. When you plant bamboo, you water it for 5 years and see nothing. Not even a sprout. But underground, an extensive root system is developing. Then, in the 6th year, the bamboo shoots up 90 feet in 6 weeks. Did the bamboo grow 90 feet in 6 weeks? No. It grew 90 feet in 5 years. The growth just wasn't visible until the end. Wealth building is the same. You're building the root system. You might not see dramatic results immediately, but if you stay consistent, the growth becomes exponential. Most people quit before the bamboo emerges. They water for 2 years, see nothing, and assume it's not working. Billionaires water for as long as it takes. Environment. You become like the people you spend time with. If you're surrounded by people who think small, complain constantly, and have no ambition, you'll absorb those patterns. If you're surrounded by people who think big, take action, and build businesses, you'll absorb those patterns. Your environment is stronger than your willpower. The normal brain ignores this, stays in the same circles, wonders why nothing changes. The billionaire brain curates environment carefully, seeks out ambitious people, joins mastermind groups, attends events where successful people gather, consumes content from mentors and thought leaders. They understand that proximity is power. Jim Rohn said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Look at your 5 closest relationships. Average their income, their habits, their mindset. That average is probably close to your current reality. If you want a different reality, you need different relationships." This doesn't mean abandoning old friends, but it does mean intentionally adding new influences that pull you upward. Now, let's talk about practical strategies for training your brain to think rich. How to train your brain to think rich without stress. You can rewire your brain. Neuroplasticity is real. Your brain forms new connections based on repeated thoughts and behaviors. This means you can literally build a billionaire brain over time by practicing the right patterns. Here's how. Visualization. This is not woo-woo. This is neuroscience. When you visualize something vividly, your brain activates the same regions as when you actually experience it. Athletes use this constantly. They visualize perfect performance before competing. This primes the nervous system to execute. You can do the same with wealth. Spend time each day visualizing your ideal financial life. Not just vague images of being rich, but specific scenes. See yourself making business decisions. See money flowing into your accounts. See yourself living in the home you want, driving the car you want, taking the trips you want. Feel the emotions: pride, confidence, freedom, gratitude. The more vivid and emotional, the more powerful. Your brain starts to believe this is real, or at least possible. It begins orienting your actions toward making it real. This is not magic. It's reprogramming your subconscious expectations. Affirmations, similar to visualization but focused on beliefs. Create statements that reflect the identity and beliefs you want to have. I am a wealth creator. Money flows to me easily. I make smart financial decisions. I am worthy of abundance. Repeat these daily, morning and night, out loud if possible. Again, this might feel silly at first, but you're overriding old programming with new programming. Most people have negative money scripts running unconsciously. Money is hard to make. Rich people are bad. I'm not good with money. These scripts came from parents, society, early experiences, and they're running your financial life from the shadows. Affirmations replace these scripts with empowering ones. Over time, your beliefs shift. And when beliefs shift, behavior shifts. And when behavior shifts, results shift. Study wealthy people. Not to copy them exactly, but to absorb their patterns. Read biographies. Watch interviews. Follow their thinking processes. How do they approach problems? How do they make decisions? How do they evaluate risk? How do they spend their time? The more you expose yourself to these patterns, the more natural they become for you. This is why mentorship is so valuable. Being around someone who's achieved what you want to achieve gives you a model. You see that it's possible. You observe how they think and act. If you can't find a mentor directly, you can create a virtual mentorship through books, podcasts, videos. Warren Buffett has taught millions of people through his annual shareholder letters, which are free online. Ray Dalio wrote Principles, sharing his entire philosophy. Naval Ravikant shares his thinking freely on Twitter and podcasts. You have access to the minds of billionaires if you take advantage of it. Practice abundance. Start living from abundance even before you have it. This doesn't mean spending money you don't have. It means adopting generous, abundant behaviors. Tip well. Give to causes you care about. Help others without expecting return. Share knowledge freely. This sounds counterintuitive. I should give when I don't have much? Yes, because the behavior creates the mindset, and the mindset creates the reality. When you give, you signal to yourself that you have more than enough. This removes scarcity thinking. It also builds relationships and goodwill, which often come back multiplied. Almost every billionaire is philanthropic. Not just because they have wealth to give, but because giving is part of the wealth-building mindset. Set stretch goals. Don't set goals based on what seems reasonable. Set goals based on what excites you. If you want to make $100,000 next year, set a goal for $500,000. Even if you don't hit it, you'll likely surpass $100,000. Big goals force you to think differently. They require strategies and actions that small goals don't. A small goal can be achieved with incremental improvement. A massive goal requires transformation. The billionaire brain sets massive goals, not to create stress, but to create expansion. When you aim high, you become more resourceful. You find ways you would never have considered if you aimed low. Take immediate action. Thinking is important, but action creates momentum. Every day, take at least one action toward wealth building, even if small. Research and investment. Read 10 pages of a business book. Reach out to someone in your network. Create content. Improve a skill. Action compounds just like money. Each small action builds on the previous ones. Over months and years, you create something massive. The normal brain waits for the perfect plan. Waits for clarity. Waits for confidence. The billionaire brain starts messy. Adjusts along the way. Learns by doing. You don't need to know everything before you start. You just need to know the next step. Track and measure. You can't improve what you don't track. Track your income, your expenses, your net worth, your time allocation. When you measure something, you become aware of it. When you're aware, you can optimize. Most people have no idea where their money goes. They earn, they spend, they wonder why there's nothing left. Billionaires track everything. They know their numbers intimately. They know which activities generate the most value. They know where time and money are being wasted. This awareness allows precision. You stop the leaks. You double down on what works. You make data-driven decisions. Embrace discomfort. Growth lives outside your comfort zone. Every time you feel resistance, fear, anxiety, uncertainty, recognize it as a signal. You're approaching something important. The normal brain interprets discomfort as danger. Retreat. Stay safe. The billionaire brain interprets discomfort as opportunity. This is where growth happens. Lean in. Make a habit of doing one uncomfortable thing per day. Have a difficult conversation. Make a bold ask. Try something new. Over time, your comfort zone expands. What once felt terrifying becomes normal. Then you push into the next uncomfortable level. This is how you evolve. Meditation and mindfulness. A calm mind makes better decisions. Meditation trains your brain to observe thoughts without being controlled by them. It creates space between stimulus and response. This is critical for wealth building. When markets crash, the normal brain panics and sells. The billionaire brain stays calm and sees opportunity. When problems arise, the normal brain reacts emotionally. The billionaire brain responds strategically. Meditation gives you that pause, that ability to choose your response rather than reacting automatically. Just 10 minutes per day can transform your mental clarity and emotional regulation. Surround yourself with the right inputs. Your brain is always processing information. What you put in shapes what comes out. Consume high-quality content. Books, podcasts, courses from people who've achieved what you want. Eliminate low-quality content. News that creates fear. Social media that creates envy. Shows that glorify consumption and drama. Your mental diet is as important as your physical diet. Garbage in, garbage out. Excellence in, excellence out. Create systems, not goals. Goals are helpful for direction, but systems create results. A goal is, I want to be a millionaire. A system is, I invest 15% of my income every month in index funds. The goal might motivate you initially, but the system gets you there. Billionaires build systems for everything. Systems for generating leads. Systems for managing time. Systems for making decisions. Systems for health. Once a system is in place, it runs automatically. You don't rely on motivation or willpower. You just follow the system. This removes friction and creates consistency. And consistency over time creates extraordinary results. Let's move now into the most fascinating part. How to absorb wealth patterns while you sleep. How to absorb wealth patterns while you sleep. Sleep is not just rest. It's when your brain processes, consolidates, and integrates information. What you think about before sleep matters. It becomes the material your subconscious works with through the night. Most people fall asleep watching TV or scrolling social media. Their last thoughts are random, scattered, often negative. They're programming their subconscious with noise. Billionaires use sleep strategically. They program their subconscious intentionally. Here's how you can do the same. Pre-sleep visualization. Before you close your eyes, spend 5 to 10 minutes visualizing your financial goals as already achieved. See yourself in vivid detail. Use all senses. What do you see? Hear? Feel? Smell? Taste? Make it as real as possible. Then, as you drift to sleep, hold that image. Your subconscious will continue working on it through the night. This is called incubation. You plant a seed before sleep, and your subconscious nurtures it while you rest. You'll often wake with ideas, insights, solutions you didn't have before. This is your subconscious presenting its work. Gratitude practice. Before sleep, list things you're grateful for, especially related to money and abundance. Maybe you're grateful for the income you have, for a roof over your head, for food in your kitchen, for opportunities available to you. Gratitude shifts your brain into an abundant state. It reminds you of what you have rather than what you lack. This positive emotional state carries into sleep and shapes your subconscious processing. Problem solving. If you're facing a challenge, frame it as a question before sleep. How can I generate an extra $5,000 this month? What's the best strategy for growing my business? How do I solve this problem with my client? State the question clearly. Don't try to force an answer. Just ask and release it. Your subconscious is a powerful problem solver. It has access to all your knowledge, experience, and creativity. It makes connections your conscious mind misses. By asking a question before sleep, you direct your subconscious to work on it. Many great discoveries and inventions came from dreams or early morning insights after this process. Audio programming. This is where content like this comes in. Listening to wealth-focused audio before or during sleep programs your subconscious with new patterns. Your conscious mind might drift or sleep, but your subconscious continues absorbing the words, the concepts, the energy. Over time, these patterns become part of your thinking. You start naturally thinking in ways you didn't before. This is not instant, but it's cumulative. Every night you expose your mind to these ideas, they root deeper. After weeks and months, you'll notice your automatic thoughts have shifted. You'll catch yourself thinking like a billionaire without trying. This is the power of repetition and subconscious programming. Affirmations on loop. Some people play affirmations on repeat through the night at low volume. The conscious mind doesn't hear it clearly, but the subconscious picks up the message. This bypasses the critical filter of the conscious mind that might resist or question new beliefs. If you try this, use high-quality affirmations focused on wealth, abundance, confidence, and capability. Dream journaling. Keep a journal by your bed. When you wake, especially from dreams, write immediately. Dreams often contain insights, symbols, messages from your subconscious. Many entrepreneurs and inventors have solved problems through dreams. Elias Howe perfected the sewing machine after a dream gave him the solution. Mendeleev saw the periodic table in a dream. Paul McCartney heard the melody for Yesterday in a dream. Your subconscious communicates through dreams. Capturing and reviewing them gives you access to deeper wisdom. Morning integration. When you wake, don't immediately grab your phone. Take 5 minutes to recall your dreams, your feelings, any insights. This allows the night's subconscious work to integrate into conscious awareness. Often, the first thoughts upon waking are the most valuable. They're unfiltered by the day's stress and noise. Capture them, review them, act on them. Consistency is key. These practices work through repetition. One night of visualization doesn't reprogram your subconscious, but 30 nights does. 100 nights does. 1,000 nights definitely does. This is why listening to audio like this repeatedly is valuable. Each time, different parts resonate. Different ideas sink deeper. Different connections form. Your brain is building new neural pathways. This takes time but creates permanent change. Let me share with you now a framework for thinking about wealth that ties everything together. The Wealth Creation Framework. Wealth is created through a simple formula. Value times leverage equals wealth. Value is what you provide to others. Solutions, products, services, entertainment, knowledge. The more valuable what you offer, the more people will pay. The more people you serve, the greater your wealth. Leverage is how you multiply your effort. As we discussed earlier, labor, capital, media. The more leverage you have, the more value you can deliver without proportionally increasing your time investment. Combine high value with high leverage, and you create massive wealth. Let's break this down practically. Step 1. Develop valuable skills. Skills are the foundation. They're what allow you to create value. The higher the value of your skills, the more you can charge and the more people will seek you out. High-value skills include selling, marketing, copywriting, coding, design, strategic thinking, leadership, communication. These skills are universal. They apply across industries. They create opportunities everywhere. Invest heavily in skill development. This is the highest return investment you can make. Skills compound. They can't be taken away. They increase your earning capacity permanently. Step 2. Solve expensive problems. Not all problems are equal. Some problems are minor annoyances. People might pay a little to solve them. Other problems are critical, painful, or expensive. People will pay a lot to solve them. Billionaires focus on expensive problems. Healthcare is expensive. Anything that improves health or reduces medical costs is valuable. Time is expensive. Anything that saves time is valuable. Inefficiency is expensive. Anything that streamlines processes is valuable. What expensive problems exist in your industry or area of expertise? Focus there. Step 3. Build systems and assets. Don't just trade time for money. Create things that generate income repeatedly. Product, a course, a business, intellectual property, investments. The first sale might take significant effort, but once the system exists, additional sales require far less effort. This is leverage. A consultant might charge $200 per hour. They're limited to the hours they can work. A course creator might spend 100 hours creating a course, then sell it to 10,000 people at $200 each. That's $2 million for the same 100 hours. Same knowledge. Completely different leverage. Step 4. Raise your prices. Most people undercharge. They're afraid of losing clients, afraid of seeming greedy, afraid of rejection. But undercharging signals low value. It attracts low-quality clients, keeps you stuck. Billionaires charge what they're worth or more. They understand that price is often a proxy for quality. If two products seem similar, people assume the more expensive one is better. Often they're right. Raising prices does two things. First, it increases revenue per transaction. Second, it filters for better clients who value and respect your work. Yes, some people won't pay. That's fine. You're not for everyone. Focus on serving those who see the value and are willing to invest appropriately. Step 5. Scale through leverage. Once you've proven your value and have a working model, multiply it. Hire people. Automate processes. Create systems. Expand distribution. This is where wealth accelerates. One person can only do so much. A team can do exponentially more. A system can serve millions. Amazon started as one person selling books from a garage. Through leverage, technology, employees, distribution networks, it became a trillion-dollar company serving hundreds of millions globally. Step 6. Compound and diversify. Once you're generating significant income, the wealth-building game changes. Now it's about preservation and multiplication through investing. Don't keep cash idle. Put money to work in assets that generate returns. Real estate, stocks, businesses, index funds. Diversify so that no single failure destroys you. Reinvest profits. Let compound interest work its magic. This phase is where wealth becomes generational, where you shift from building wealth to stewarding wealth. Let's go deeper now into specific mental exercises you can practice. Mental exercises for wealth building. These exercises strengthen the wealth-building neural pathways in your brain. The million-dollar question. Regularly ask yourself, if I had to make $1 million in the next 12 months, what would I do? Don't filter. Brainstorm. Write down every idea, no matter how outlandish. This forces creative thinking, pushes past limiting beliefs. It opens possibilities. You might not execute every idea, but the process trains your brain to think bigger. The ideal day visualization. Close your eyes. Imagine your ideal day 10 years from now. Not just financially, but holistically. Where do you wake up? Who's beside you? What does your home look like? How do you spend your morning? What work do you do, if any? Who do you interact with? What do you eat? How do you feel? Make it vivid. Make it detailed. Make it emotionally resonant. This creates a target. Your subconscious now has a clear destination to navigate toward. The future self meditation. Visualize yourself 10 years from now, having achieved your financial goals. Imagine this future version of you can send advice back to present you. What would they say? What would they tell you to do differently? What would they warn you against? What would they encourage you to start immediately? Listen. Write down what comes up. Often, your intuition knows what you need to do. This exercise accesses that wisdom. The gratitude multiplier. Each day, write down one thing you're grateful for that you currently take for granted. Running water, electricity, the internet, a phone, a bed. Then calculate what life would be like without it. How much harder would everything be? This reframes your perception of wealth. You realize you already have incredible abundance by historical standards. 100 years ago, kings didn't have access to what you have now. This gratitude baseline makes it easier to build more without desperation or anxiety. The compound effect calculator. Regularly calculate what small, consistent actions will become over time. If you invest $100 per week at 8% annual return, what do you have in 10 years? 20 years? 30 years? Run the numbers. See the power of compound growth. This motivates consistency. When you see that small actions create massive long-term results, it's easier to stay disciplined. The worst-case scenario planning. For any business idea or investment, ask, what's the worst that could happen? Usually, it's not that bad. You might lose some money. You might feel embarrassed. You might waste time. But you won't die. You won't be ruined. You can recover. Acknowledging the worst case removes irrational fear. It makes risk manageable. Then ask, what's the best that could happen? Often, the best case is extraordinary, life-changing, wealth-creating. When you compare the two, limited downside, unlimited upside, many decisions become obvious. The wealth allocation exercise. Imagine you suddenly have $10 million. How would you allocate it? How much to investments? What kind? How much to business? Which business? How much to lifestyle? What would you buy? How much to giving? Who would you help? This exercise clarifies your values and your strategy. It also makes wealth less abstract. You start thinking like someone who manages wealth, which prepares you to actually manage it when it comes. The daily win tracking. Each night, write down 3 wins from the day related to wealth building. Maybe you learned something new. Maybe you made a sale. Maybe you had a valuable conversation. Maybe you saved money instead of spending it. Maybe you resisted a bad financial decision. Count everything. No win is too small. This trains your brain to notice progress. Progress creates motivation. Motivation creates more action. Over time, you'll see patterns. You'll see what activities lead to wins. You'll do more of those. The contribution question. Regularly ask, how can I provide more value today than I did yesterday? This focuses your mind on creation rather than consumption. Value creation is the engine of wealth. The more you focus on it, the more wealth you generate. This question also prevents stagnation. You're always pushing to improve, to give more, to serve better. The fear inversion. When you feel fear about a financial decision, write it down. I'm afraid to invest because I might lose money. Then invert it. What's the cost of not investing? Often, the cost of inaction is higher than the cost of action. Not investing means guaranteed loss to inflation. Guaranteed missed compound growth. Guaranteed staying where you are. Suddenly, the safe choice looks risky. The risky choice looks safer. This reframe helps you move forward despite fear. Let's explore now the role of patience and timing in wealth building. The power of patience and perfect timing. One of the most misunderstood aspects of wealth building is timing. People see billionaires and think they succeeded quickly. They see the end result and miss the years of groundwork. Amazon was founded in 1994. It didn't turn a profit for years. Many people thought it would fail. Bezos kept building. Now it's one of the most valuable companies in history. Apple nearly went bankrupt in the 1990s. Steve Jobs returned, and over the next decade, slowly turned it around. Now it's worth trillions. Warren Buffett is worth over $100 billion. 99% of that wealth was accumulated after his 50th birthday. Why? Compound interest. The wealth grew exponentially in the later decades because the base was so large. This is the pattern. Slow growth at first, then explosive growth later. Most people quit during the slow part. They don't see dramatic results in year 1 or 2, so they assume it's not working. But that's exactly when they should double down. The bamboo metaphor again. You're building the root system. Trust the process. There's also the concept of timing in terms of opportunities. Some opportunities only appear once. Some markets are only accessible at certain moments. The billionaire brain is always prepared to act when opportunity arrives. They have capital available. They have skills developed. They have relationships in place. So when the moment comes, they can move. The normal brain waits for the perfect opportunity but is never prepared when it arrives. They don't have capital because they spent everything. They don't have skills because they didn't invest in learning. They don't have relationships because they didn't network. Opportunity knocks, but they can't answer. Luck, as the saying goes, is preparation meeting opportunity. Billionaires create luck by being perpetually prepared. They also understand market cycles. Markets, whether stock markets, real estate markets, or business markets, move in cycles. Boom, bust, recovery, boom again. The normal brain panics during busts, sells low, misses the recovery. The billionaire brain stays calm during busts, buys low, captures the recovery. This requires patience. It requires seeing beyond the immediate. During the 2008 financial crisis, many people panicked and sold everything. They locked in losses. Those who stayed invested, or better, who bought more, recovered all losses and made significant gains as markets rebounded. The same pattern repeats in every crisis. Panic creates opportunity for those who stay rational. Patience also means giving your strategies time to work. You can't build a billion-dollar business in a year. You can't become a master investor in a month. You can't develop world-class skills in a week. These things take years, sometimes decades. But if you're patient, if you stay consistent, the results are inevitable. The universe rewards persistence. Every billionaire faced moments of doubt. Moments where it seemed like nothing was working. Moments where quitting looked appealing. But they didn't quit. They kept going. And eventually, breakthrough arrived. Your breakthrough is coming too, if you stay the course. Now let's discuss something critical. The relationship between wealth and happiness. Wealth and happiness, the balanced perspective. Money doesn't guarantee happiness. But lack of money often guarantees stress. There's a threshold. Research suggests that happiness increases with income up to about $75,000 per year. Beyond that, more money doesn't significantly increase day-to-day happiness. But it does increase options, security, and freedom. Billionaires aren't necessarily happier than millionaires. But both are generally less stressed than people struggling financially. The key is balance. If you sacrifice everything, health, relationships, integrity, for wealth, you'll end up rich and miserable. If you neglect wealth entirely because money isn't important, you'll likely end up struggling and stressed. The billionaire brain pursues wealth strategically but not obsessively. They make money a priority. They work hard. They think strategically, but they also maintain health. They invest in relationships. They find meaning beyond just accumulation. Warren Buffett still lives in the house he bought in 1958 for $31,000. He doesn't own a yacht. He doesn't collect expensive cars. His lifestyle is relatively modest. His wealth gives him security and allows him to give billions to charity. But it doesn't define his daily happiness. This is wisdom. Build wealth. Use it to create freedom, security, and impact. But don't worship it. Money is a tool. Powerful one. But just a tool. The goal is not to have the most money. The goal is to live fully, contribute meaningfully, and enjoy the journey. Wealth supports these goals. It doesn't replace them. So as you train your brain to think like a billionaire, remember to also train your heart to remain human. Stay generous. Stay kind. Stay humble. The best billionaires are those who use their wealth to make the world better, who lift others as they rise, who remember where they came from. Let that be your aim. Now, as we near the end of this journey, let's consolidate everything into a practical action plan. Your wealth-building action plan. Here's what to do starting tomorrow. Morning routine. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. Spend that time on yourself. No phone, no email. Meditate for 10 minutes. Visualize your financial goals for 5 minutes. Read or listen to wealth-building content for 15 minutes. This sets a powerful tone for the day. Evening routine. Before bed, review your day. Write down 3 wins. Practice gratitude. Visualize your ideal future for 5 minutes. Fall asleep with intention. Program your subconscious. Weekly review. Every Sunday, review your finances. Track income, expenses, net worth. Assess progress toward goals. Celebrate wins. Identify areas for improvement. Adjust strategies as needed. Monthly learning. Each month, complete 1 book or course related to wealth building. Skills, investing, business, mindset. Continuous learning compounds. 12 books per year means 12 new frameworks and perspectives. Quarterly strategy. Every 3 months, step back. Review your bigger picture. Are you on track? What's working? What's not? Make bold adjustments if needed. Stay flexible. Annual goals. Each year, set clear financial goals. Income targets. Net worth targets. Skills to develop. Relationships to build. Write them down. Review them monthly. Let them guide your decisions. Daily value creation. Every day, do something that creates value. Content, products, services, improvements, connections. Small daily value compounds into massive wealth over time. Money discipline. Track every dollar. Spend intentionally. Invest consistently. Eliminate waste. Small leaks sink ships. Plug the leaks. Network actively. Reach out to 1 new person per week. Strengthen existing relationships. Give value freely. Your network is your net worth. Build it deliberately. Take calculated risks. Every quarter, do something outside your comfort zone. Start a side project. Make an investment. Pitch a big client. Risk is required for growth. Embrace it. Optimize health. You can't enjoy wealth if you're sick. Prioritize sleep, exercise, nutrition. Health is wealth. Give back. As you earn, give. 10% is a good starting point. To causes you care about. To people in need. Giving creates abundance mindset. It also makes wealth meaningful. This plan is simple. It's not complicated. But it works. Consistency over time creates miracles. Final thoughts. The journey ahead. You've spent almost 2 hours with these ideas. That's valuable. But the real value comes from implementation. Ideas without action are worthless. So here's my challenge to you. Choose one thing from everything you've heard. Just one. The thing that resonated most. Commit to doing it for 30 days. Not perfectly, just consistently. Maybe it's the morning routine. Maybe it's tracking your money. Maybe it's reading for 15 minutes daily. Maybe it's visualization before bed. One thing. 30 days. After 30 days, it'll be a habit. Then add another. Over time, you'll build all the patterns we've discussed. Your brain will rewire. Your results will shift. This is how transformation happens. Not all at once. Little by little. Day by day. Remember, the billionaire brain is not something you're born with. It's something you build. Through thoughts repeated. Actions taken. Patterns practiced. You have everything you need to start. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need commitment. The wealth you desire is possible. Not easy. Not immediate. But possible. If others have done it and millions have, you can too. The only question is, will you? Will you do the work? Will you stay consistent? Will you push through the discomfort, the doubt, the slow periods? If yes, your future is bright. If no, nothing changes. The choice is yours. It's always been yours. Your brain is listening. Your subconscious is absorbing. The seeds are planted. Now water them, nurture them, protect them, and watch what grows. As you drift into sleep tonight, let these final thoughts settle into your mind. You are capable of creating wealth. You deserve financial abundance. You have unique value to offer the world. Money flows to those who serve. Money multiplies for those who invest. Money compounds for those who are patient. Your past does not determine your future. Your circumstances are temporary. Your potential is unlimited. Think like a billionaire. Act like a billionaire. Become a billionaire. The journey begins now. The journey never ends. Enjoy every step. You are becoming more aware, more strategic, more patient. Your thoughts are expanding. Your beliefs are softening. Your future is quietly changing. Rest now. Learn gently. Let your mind grow wealthy, naturally. Sleep well. Dream big. Wake ready. Your wealthy life is waiting.